What's up? Today we will be installing a new trumpet on the MX5. We will be installing Ulter Sport's dual tip exhaust. This has been lying around, I don't know for how many months now, but it is about damn time to install it. As you can see from a visual aspect, it will be a great difference compared to the OEM one. We have two small tips coming out on the right side, and this one then will be two center exits. And for that we also have a so-called diffusers. This is just a piece of plastic, but it will make the rear end look much greater. I have actually seen one car, or actually two cars, 30th anniversary cars equipped with the same exhaust, and it really makes a big difference on the rear end. If we gain anything from a horsepower point of view, I wouldn't think so. Maybe a couple or so, 1.5, I don't know. But the main thing is then from a visual aspect, and also the way this sounds, because the OEM system, I can barely hear it, not even in a tunnel with the top down, top up. No matter the speed, if I'm going too fast, the wind noise is much greater than the exhaust noise. So with that said, it will be a really good addition, hopefully then when we have the system installed, and I will guide you through how I will do the installation. But before we do that, if you do like the content of the channel, please support me by subscribing, hit that bell icon to stay notified for future modifications with the MX5, the BMW, track days, car detailing, etc. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and without any further ado, let's get on with the video. Before we continue with the installation, we want to get the car lifted up in order for us to have some more room underneath the car, and also for you to be able to see what I'm doing. And I will be using my home built wheel cribs. These are functional, these are much safer in my opinion than using jack stands. You can use jack stands or whatever method you use, but I prefer my wheel cribs. Once the car is up in the air, we will loosen two bolts and remove the hangers, etc., and remove the OEM muffler, and then we will replace it with the Ulter Sport muffler. I didn't get a gasket in this kit, so hopefully we can reuse the OEM one, but I don't think that's going to be the most time consuming part. I think the most time consuming part is actually to get this so-called diffuser, I'm sorry for calling it so-called, in place. We will have to use 3M tape, and also we got some provided self-tapping screws, as you can see, with a locking washer as well. And I'll see if I'll be using those screws or my own. Let's see about that. But let's get the car up in the air and continue the install. With the car lifted up safely, the front wheels are chocked, the handbrake is activated. We have two 40mm nuts that we need to remove, and as you can see, hopefully there are two welded nuts in place on the OEM muffler. Those we can't reuse them, but Ulter did provide two nuts in the kit, which we will use when installing the Ulter Sport muffler. So first thing is then to remove these, and then we will get on with the hangers, and I'll show you where they are positioned. With the OEM hardware out, we need to attack the rubber hangers, which the muffler now is hanging on. And there are some tools to actually push these pins out from the rubber bushings or the rubber hangers, but I don't have such tools, so potentially we have to use some soap and water to reduce the friction. So let's see how this goes. This can take some time. I don't know if I will film all of it, but the idea is then to remove these bushings out from these pins, which can be held because the hangers or the metal hangers here are actually welded onto the chassis. Sometimes you can remove that hanger all in all and then do it on the ground, but now we have to do it upside down and lying on our back, so hopefully we will get it out rather quickly. With all four hangers loose, the muffler is now only hanging on with the jack. So I will gently lower the jack and try to hold the muffler in place. Make sure obviously then that this is not warm, and also this shouldn't be that heavy, so it's okay to do it with one person. like so. This was actually quite light. Now that we have both mufflers available, let's do a quick size comparison. As you can see, the OEM one is much larger and wider, and the height is also a little bit higher than the Ulter one, not by much. And before we install the Ulter system, let's weigh both mufflers and see how much they weigh. In my opinion, they don't seem to be that much of a difference, so I don't know if we will do any weight savings or not, but it is just for fun, so let's see how much they weigh. The OEM muffler comes in at 10.5 kilos. Now let's see how much the Ulter system weighs. This is very, very exciting. The Ulter exhaust comes in at 8.6 kilograms, so we definitely have some weight savings, which is great. Before I mount the rubber hanger, I will actually spray some soap and water into the hole, which will make it much easier to mount it on this pin then. So I did run into some issues with what I thought would be the easiest part, and that would be putting back the bolt for the exhaust then. But I don't know if this comes through, but it is not near enough to get any thread through with regards to getting the nut back on the muffler side. I have tried to decompress the springs fully, and barely I can get any thread through. I don't know if I'm doing anything wrong, and also I was not able to remove this nut here. For some reason it's stuck. I don't know if it's even possible to remove it or not. So what I did was that I went out and purchased myself a new bolt and washer and nuts, and hopefully then we can decompress this somewhat and then get a nut in place, which I have bought here. So it's an M10 nut. So we'll try that and hopefully it will work. So I'll try to decompress the spring a bit and not shoot it in my own face. So we had a small setback, which I hopefully have solved. We'll see if it will hold up or not. But the OEM bolts were too short, or I'm doing something wrong, I don't know. Even if I remove the gasket between the mid pipe and the axle back, this portion was not long enough for me to have any threads, more or less, to actually put the nut on. So I'm not sure if the flange is welded on with the wrong side, because the holes are different sizes, and the smallest hole is against the mid pipe side, so to speak, and the bigger hole is facing towards the rear. And I think it should have been the other way around, but that's just me. And hopefully then again this will hold up. We'll see. I will also reach out to Ulter and ask if this is the case or if I'm doing something wrong. But let's see about that. But now we will continue the work with installing the diffuser, which should have been the most time-consuming part. This is actually the day after I started installing the muffler, as all stores, etc. were closed yesterday, so I couldn't go out and buy new bolts, but we have done that today, so we can now continue with the diffuser installation. Oh boy, does it look good. It looks fantastic in real life. I don't know how well it comes through in the video, but the rear end of the car looks much beefier with the center pipes and also with this so-called diffuser then. So it is not mounted yet. I have just put it in place temporarily just to get a feel for the fit and finish, and also that we are aligned. From an alignment point of view, I think I have got it pretty good. So we are having the same distance from the side of the diffuser to the tailpipes, so that is good. However, I think we will have issues with regards to the fitment of this diffuser. I don't think the molding is that great in my opinion, and Ulter recommends to actually use glue instead of 3M tape. That I think is due to that the glue actually smears around and covers a larger area and you get a larger contact point. But with the 3M tape, which I will be using, I won't get that much contact area, so hopefully it will work with the 3M tape. That we will see. And also Ulter recommends then that the diffuser is mounted actually before the muffler is put in place. This is something I have not mentioned before, but that is due to mainly, I would guess, because there are 2 screws that needs to go in this portion of the diffuser and up into the OEM diffuser, and that is very difficult now with the tailpipes in place. The other two screws, one goes in here and the other one goes there then. But for these two, it will be really difficult to get those in now once the muffler is in place. Let's see. But the reason for why I chose to actually do the muffler first and the diffuser second is that I can actually then align the diffuser with the mufflers and hopefully then get them centered, etc. And if I would have been installing the diffuser first and then the mufflers, I'm not sure if we would be able then to center, because it's much more difficult to align the mufflers with the hangers, etc., and get them in place compared to just then having the diffuser to think of. So let's see how we can continue the installation with regards to the diffuser. I will mount the 3M tape where I think it is possible then to have contact, and we will see what we'll do with the screws as well. After some consideration, I actually decided then to remove the mufflers because it was impossible to get any screws here because there was not enough room when the tailpipes were there. So what I will be doing then is to install the screws, and also I'll show you where I have put the 3M tape, and we will hope that it will stick, and it will stick good, because in this areas here I think it is a little bit too much of a gap for the 3M tape. Let's see, I'm actually considering to do a double layer, meaning stacking 2 layers of 3M tape on top of each other. But what I will be doing now is to do the pilot holes for the screws, and then we'll take the diffuser off and take off the backing tape, etc., and then remount the diffuser, but this time then for real. We are slowly reaching the point of no return. I have moved the backing tape on the sides, but on the top one I have not removed anything. I'm actually thinking of doing a cut in the middle and remove the backing tape from the middle and then work my way towards the sides. I think that will be a easier and a nicer install than working from one side to the other. It would be very difficult as I am alone as well. The muffler is installed, and thank God the alignment is still correct and it's the same way as before we remove the muffler. So what is next to do is then to remove all the tape, and hopefully the diffuser is sitting in place. And what I will be doing next is then to start it up and see if we have any leakages, etc. The sound review, etc. will come in a later video because this was an installation video, so you have to bear with me. So what I will be doing now is to take the car off the wheel cribs after we have done the leakage test, and then we will wrap the video up. There you have it. It looks fantastic. If it was only from a looks perspective, this would win hands down. But what is left to see is then if the diffuser will hold in place, and also what the sound is like, if we will have any drone, etc. I really hope we won't have any drone and that the sound will be really good. If you have any questions at all, just hit me up in the comment sections below and I will try to answer them the best I can. And also, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Do remember to hit the bell icon to stay notified for future content for the MX5, the BMW, anything else, car detailing, etc., etc. And I will be seeing you on the next one.